I want to introduce Abby Ashkenazi, who's a technology director of Zero Motorcycles. Zero Motorcycles are only doing perfectly zero-emission motorcycles, and they're world number one. And we went to see their facility yesterday, some of us, which was a great privilege. This one is very exciting. I want to ask Abby a little bit of background. Abby, you are making these various motorcycles. You did off-road and on-road. Now you do mainly on-road.
We do both on-road, pure on-road, and dual purpose.
Right.
Bikes that could do both on-road and off-road. Yeah.
Right. And you seem to be about number one in the world, don't you? Which is absolutely brilliant.
Electric motorcycles.
And we're amazed at the depths you do, because you're going to speak shortly on the motors where you developed your own.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. So we have been doing electric motorcycles since 2006.
Yeah.
Which is a very long time, relative to this new industry. And very quickly we discovered that motorcycles are a unique application. Light vehicles really are a unique application, and the done in the e-bike world are too far from this very unique world that we live in. And so making bespoke motors, batteries, all these different components that make this thing be as exciting as it is, it's just the world we live in.
You can use this anywhere in the world, of course. You can plug it into a regular socket.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's really great about these motorcycles. Most of our customers are commuters. Most of our customers use these bikes to get to work, to move around cities. And so when they get to work, when they get home, they just want to be able to plug in and have this thing charged in the background while they're having dinner, while they're sleeping, while they're working. And so we made it so you can plug to any outlet.
Wonderful. But in a country area, you could have solar-powered charging stations, perhaps?
There's a lot of really interesting usage cases. There's a customer of ours who's got a cabin up in the woods, up in the mountains, and he bought one of our dual-purpose motorcycles, exactly, the FX. And he's got a water mill that runs off the river. So he goes out there and he rides off the river for a week at a time, right?
Oh, don't you love it? That's superb. So Tesla says that they're going to take all their charging stations off-grid, and then they can be seen to be fully green, but also they can be transportable and so on. So I guess in many ways there are some echoes of Tesla with you. They've outsold all the American premium cars, I think. Are you going to do that with premium motorcycles?
We'll see. We believe it's the future. How long it takes for motorcyclists to make the switch will be something that we'll be watching very closely. I can tell you that once you've gone electric on motorcycles, it's very difficult to go back to gas. The beautiful thing about the electric motorcycles is that you don't have. Motorcycles are an exposed vehicle. You have an exposed powertrain.
Yes.
So in an internal combustion engine motorcycle, which is very unlike a car. You have heat, you have fumes, you have noise, you have vibration, you have all these things that when you take them away, it's pretty magical, it's pretty special.
And like Tesla, you don't have to pull your punches, you're not trying to preserve an old bang engine business, I guess. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So your motor, you actually designed it so that a motor, I gather that if you bought it off the shelf, it had to be air-cooled for the extra volume and weight and failure modes, and you actually worked out that water-cooled. It had to go. You've worked out how to make it air-cooled.
Yeah,
is that right?
So we have this philosophy that's really been helpful to us. And anytime that anyone gets on our motorcycles, the first time I got on a Zero motorcycle, what blows you away is this magic carpet, right? The simplicity, the purity of the experience, right? So we wanted to make sure as we got on with designing new generations of motorcycles, new platforms and all that we capture that, we embrace that, if you will. So we have this thing called sophisticated simplicity, which is our philosophy, where if we can make solutions that are simple, we know they're going to serve the experience better. So if we can have a motor, for instance, that can deliver the power that we're after, the torque we're after, the efficiency we're after, and it doesn't have to be water cooled, and it doesn't have to have all this extra component, it doesn't have to have transmission, it doesn't have to, then we know that at the end we're going to deliver a better experience, which at the end of the game, we're in this electric motorcycle world not because we think electric is necessarily the thing. The experience of electric is just a wonderful.
And this superb powertrain is suitable for other things.
Yeah, absolutely. So once we've developed the powertrain and really were quite successful with it, we became aware of the fact that there's all kinds of things that this thing could power. So there's a competitive race kart manufacturing, racing go-kart manufacturer in California, Rattlesnake Go-Karts, that uses our powertrain and is quite competitive. There's a different, more of a commercial go-kart manufacturer in Europe for recreational go-karts is using our powertrain. There's just a lot of very different applications.
What I call jet skis, but it's a trade name. We have to say generically those things, but it trials those beautifully. And so your potential, even in motorcycles, it must be going from your present thousands up to hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, again, we really see a huge potential in this light vehicle space or light mobility space that is not being. So you have the e-bike stuff that is working great, but it's a cottage industry, millions of units. You have e-cars that are starting to be very successful, but those technologies do not power this light vehicle space, whereas our technology does very well.
Well, most impressive. Thank you for a brief interview that's really quite a cracker. We think that although you're independent, there must be some giants eyeing you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So we're here at the ID Tech X show, and who are you?
Hi, my name's Shannon. I work at Zero Motorcycles, and what we have right here is one of our model line FX. It's one of the base models that we have, and it has a new 7.2 battery. And this model and the FXS over here are similar.
So let's go around.
Okay.
So you have a black stylish one right here.
Right, so this is our FXS model, which is street legal. They're all street legal. And it has actually the more street-focused tires as opposed to more of a bike tire that can ride on the dirt.
And what's running it? So this is zero, that means electric?
So this is the actual motor. So we're a motorcycle company, right? So basically, what we've got.
Can I film what you're saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So these are the powertrains, right? So this is the motor out of our FX bike, the motor and the battery. So this will put out to about 46 horsepower. This is the battery and the motor out of our SR and our DSR bike, and this will put out 70 horsepower and about 116 foot-pounds of torque. So that's what this bike and this bike have, or the additional horsepower there.
How far is the range?
So depending on the bike with the biggest range is about 200 miles around town, and then about half that on the highway. So sustained highway speeds drain the battery pretty quick. But yeah, you're looking a couple hundred miles around town.
And the speed?
100 miles an hour is where we top out.
That's kind of like too fast to be safe, no? 100 miles an hour is pretty fast.
That's all good.
Yeah, that's all good, right?
Yeah.
And how do you do this technology? Did you do a lot of innovation in here?
Well, yeah, so this is all our technology, all from the ground up. I mean, we developed this motor back in 2013 from the ground up. The battery technology, we work real close with our cell manufacturer, and then we basically build the packs, get the cells from them and build the packs. So yeah, these bikes are built from the ground up as electric motorcycles. We don't take a bike and put a motor in it.
So how do you get this powertrain done? And this could be applied not only to motorbikes.
Well, so that's one of the reasons we're here. We're primarily a motorcycle company, but we're branching out into the powertrain. So so the powertrains, are something that we're starting to see. Some other folks. We've got some go-kart companies that are using them. We have some stand-up watercraft companies that are going electric. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of opportunity out there.
Is it powerful enough for the flying car?
We're not flying yet.
You're not flying yet.
Yeah.
But cars?
Yeah.
Can you get into cars?
Yeah, some of the smaller cars. I mean, if you look at the horsepower, I mean, this puts out 70 horsepower. So 70 horsepower is some of the real small cars are a lot less than that. So yeah.
Can you talk some more about the bike? So how many do you sell of this one thus far?
So this is our DSR, and this is our on-off-road bike. This bike right here is a 14.4 kilowatt hour battery. You're about a 200-mile range around town, about half that on the highway. This is our on-off-road bike, so you can do the dirt roads as well as as well as the street. I can turn it on and show you how the dash works if you like. You want to get maybe on the other side?
Yeah, I'll get
view
right here.
So when you turn the dash on, you can watch, and it just kind of takes a second. It cycles through. This is your clock. It tells you how much your state of charge, your speedometer, your odometer. There's a trip odometer that you can set. There's a motor temperature here. This shows your output and your regen when the bike's running. This is the mode that it's in. So that's a sport mode, and there's a button here. So there's a sport mode, an eco mode, and a custom mode. The custom mode, the bikes actually have Bluetooth, and they talk to your phone. And in the custom mode, you can actually adjust your torque and your regen and your speed, and you can map the custom mode for what you would like it, what you want it to do.
So this is the big one.
Right. So
That's
we
the
do
big one, and you have a small
two
one?
different platforms. So this platform is a smaller battery. So these two bikes share the same platform with the bigger battery, and the bigger battery you can see right there on the table, and then the smaller battery on the other table is what these two bikes carry. So this
And
is
it's right here, the battery.
This is the battery right here. Right
And
there
it's
is
the
the
perfect
battery.
place to put a battery?
Yeah, the weight distribution's great. It feels just like a standard bike. Absolutely.
How does it feel actually? And are there lots of competitors doing electric motorbikes? or-
Right now we outsell all the other competitors combined. There's a couple companies that are up and coming, and we're going to see a lot more in the next 2 or 3 years.
So you're the number one in the world.
We are, yeah, and we welcome the competition. I mean, it's just shows that the market's viable, and
So that means
yeah.
lots of people are buying these.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're very popular.
But
Yeah.
it could grow much faster very quickly, or
Yeah, I mean, it's growing.
how big is the motorbike market in the world?
Well, that's
millions,
that's
no?
the thing. No, well, it's a fraction of cars, right?
Fraction, yeah.
and then electric is even a smaller fraction of the motorcycle market, right? So it's something that's growing. Every year we're growing substantially.
What's the price?
We start about $8,500 and we go up to about $18,000. So it just depends on the bike.
$8,500 doesn't sound so expensive, right?
No, not at all.
How does it compare with a traditional? Styles.
Normally more power and more torque than the same type of a bike, same size bike. If you look at this bike here, this is the equivalent to about a 450cc bike, horsepower and torque wise. And, there's no maintenance other than tires and brake pads. Turn it on, twist the throttle and go. You don't have to shift it. You don't have to do anything.
And usually one of those bikes cost like $5,000 or something.
So the gas bike?
Yeah.
Gas bikes are probably in the $5,000-$6,000 range.
So it's
these
just
are
a little bit more.
These are a little bit more, but it comes back to you because there's no maintenance.
There's
you
no
never have
gas.
to do an oil change. You never have to do a tune-up, anything. A clutch. It's just the maintenance
plug
on
it
these
in?
is tires and brake pads. And the charge on this bike to go 90 miles is about $1's worth of electricity.
And you get 0 to 60 pretty fast?
Very fast, yeah.
Faster than the other bikes?
Oh yeah, that the white street bike in the corner is our flagship, the SR, and that's 0 to 60 in about 3.2 seconds.
That's scary, no?
Ah,
People
not
fall
scary.
off the
It's
bike?
fun. They gotta hang on.
You gotta hang on,
Yeah.
yeah?